Hello students, welcome to today's English class. I am Roopna Ravindran, Assistant Professor of English at Government Degree College Chevalla in Rangareddy district of Telangana state. So today let's discuss the lesson The Grammar of Anarchy by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This lesson is part of your General English textbook, English in Use, prescribed by Osmania University for BA, BCom and BSc students. The Grammar of Anarchy is an edited extract from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's closing speech in the Constituent Assembly on November 25th, 1949. Coming to the biographical details of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is popularly known as, everyone knows, Baba Saheb Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Everyone knows that he is one of the chief architects of Indian Constitution. He was very well known and widely followed political leader. He was an eminent jurist, law minister of Government of India. He was a Buddhist activist, philosopher, anthropologist, historian, orator, writer, economist, scholar and editor too. So he was an institution in himself. We have a lot to learn from a personality like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was a social reformer and a leader who dedicated his life to eradicate social inequality in India. He was credited to be the chief force behind the Dalit Buddhist movement in India. He attempted to establish an India of equals, a country which provided greater opportunities for people who are socially and historically disadvantaged. So, he was born on April 14th, 1891 and he died on December 6th, 1957. He was born of a Dalit Mahar family of Western India. His father was an officer in Indian Army, and he was the 14th and last child of his parents. His parents are Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhimabai Sakpal. Although Ambedkar attended army school, he faced caste discrimination over there. He, along with other untouchable children, were segregated. They were not given any attention by teacher. The untouchable children were not even allowed to sit in the class with other children. You might have heard all these stories, how a teacher has given the name Ambedkar to him. In 1897, Ambedkar's family moved to Mumbai. There he enrolled at a high school, but even there he faced discrimination. And his marriage also happened then to a 9-year-old girl. In 1907, he passed his matriculation. After that, in 1912, he obtained his degree in economics and political science from Bombay University. He entered the Baroda Public Service as Defence Secretary at the request of the then ruler of Baroda. But again, even in the public service, Ambedkar was ill-treated by his high caste colleagues. He was awarded a scholarship by the ruler of Baroda and he studied for post-graduation at Columbia University in the USA. He passed his MA exam in June 1915, majoring in economics and other subjects of sociology, history, philosophy and anthropology. After that, he presented a thesis. The thesis is titled Ancient Indian Commerce. He completed his second and third thesis eventually. In 1916, he completed his second thesis, that is National Dividend of India. In 1918, he became Professor of Political Economy. He was awarded a doctorate by the University of Columbia in 1927. Actually, Dr. Ambedkar was the first Indian to get a doctorate degree in economics from abroad. So, in the same year, that is in 1927, he presented the paper Caste in India. Dr. Ambedkar was a master of 64 subjects and he had knowledge of 9 languages. Apart from this, he studied all the religions of the world in a comparative way for almost 21 years. And he is the only person who received a valuable doctorate degree which is named Doctorate All Sciences, Doctor All Sciences from London School of Economics. Here he completed 8 years of study in just 2 years, 3 months it seems. Ambedkar published the weekly Mook Naik, which means leader of the silent. He soon became the leader of the silent people, of the downtrodden people, that is Dalits, and succeeded in obtaining special representation for them in the Legislative Council of the government. For the defense of Dalit rights, he started 5 periodicals, and by 1927 he started active movements against untouchability. In 1935, Ambedkar was appointed principal of Government Law College in Bombay and he held this position for around 2 years. He published his important book Annihilation of Caste in 1936. It is an important work. In his essay Who Were Shudras, Ambedkar tried to explain about the formation of untouchables in India. After Indian independence, Ambedkar was invited to be the Law Minister of Government of India. He accepted that, but later he resigned the cabinet in 1951. He was disappointed at the lack of influence by the government. So he was not at all satisfied and he resigned the position. In the same year, he was appointed the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee, and he was also appointed by the Constituent Assembly to write the India's new constitution. It was in 1951. He took a leading part in framing Indian constitution, outlawing discrimination against Dalits. He worked to bring out a comprehensive document, and this document should be inclusive to hold the diverse population of India. The text prepared by Ambedkar actually provided constitutional guarantees and protection for wide range of civil liberties for all Indian citizens. So this included the constitution that he prepared included a freedom of religion, abolition of untouchability, and also outlawing all forms of discrimination in the name of caste, class, and so on. Ambedkar argued for extensive economic and social rights for women. He gained assembly support for introducing a system of reservations for members of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other backward communities. So he was appointed to Rajya Sabha in 1952. In 1956, he became a Buddhist. He renounced Hinduism and he devoted his attention to Buddhist religion. He became a Buddhist in 1956 and he was awarded Bharat Ratna in 1991 posthumously. Yeah, coming to this grammar of anarchy, Ambedkar's Grammar of Anarchy is actually a closing speech in the Constituent Assembly on November 25th, 1949. This speech outlines the diversity of India. So he is bringing out the diversified India perspective of India. There are different kinds of people in India, people belonging to different castes. So India should be inclusive of everyone. It details the challenges the country would face in implementing the constitution, emphasizing the need to build a nation on the basis of social equality. Dr. Ambedkar unfolds a roadmap that India needs to follow in order to hold its fragments together and graduate from being a country to a full-fledged nation. So this is taken from your text. In text they have given about the speech. So this paragraph is taken from about the speech that is given in your textbook. So he is emphasizing the need of a nation. Building a nation which is based on the principles of social equality. We have very rich people in India and also very poor people in India. So India should be inclusive of all these kind of people, and all these kind of people should be treated socially and economically treated equal in India. Dr. Ambedkar unfolds a roadmap that India needs to follow. So he is telling certain important points which is very much relevant during those times, during the times of India becoming a democratic republic. So he is asking every Indian, he is asking the responsible people to follow those principles so that we can hold the fragments together, we can hold the pieces together. So Britishers have left India into pieces and we have become independent in 1947, and in 1950 we are moving to a republic country. So in order to become a full-fledged nation, we have to follow certain principles. Ambedkar is giving 3 advices. And what are these 3 advices? First advice is to give up anarchy. So it should not be, India should not be an anarchy. It should not be a state of disorder. It should have a government, a proper controlling power. And the second thing that he mentioned, second advice, is that to avoid hero worship. We should not worship any hero. We worship God, we show our bhakti towards God, but if we show our bhakti towards political people, then the whole scenario will change and India will move towards dictatorship, towards monopoly. So in order to preserve India as a democratic republic, we need to avoid hero worship. And we have to work towards social and political democracy. So all these things are detailed in detail discussed in this speech by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So before going to the speech, we have to be clear about certain words that are frequently used in this speech. So what are those words? First one is grammar. Even the title of the speech is a little perplexing, is a little confusing for the students. So the title of the speech is The Grammar of Anarchy. So what does the word grammar mean here? Grammar means a set of rules or principles that you follow. And what is anarchy? Anarchy is a state of disorder due to the absence of authority or constituting system. So India got independence in 1947 and till 1950 a constitution was not formed. So India during that time, this was this speech was delivered in 1949. So it was high time that India formed a constitution then. So India was in a state of anarchy then, in a state of disorder then, and they were moving towards, Indians during that time were moving towards a democratic republic. So they were moving from anarchy towards a formation of a proper government. So what are the set of rules or principles that are required for India during that time to move from a state of anarchy, a state of disorder, towards a state of order and towards a formation of a proper government? That is discussed in this speech by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, third one, we have the words independence and republic. What is the difference between these two terms with respect to our situation in India? India's Independence Day actually celebrates its freedom from the British rule. And what about the Republic Day celebration? The Republic Day celebrates the coming into force of its constitution. Constitution was drafted by the committee headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Next is democracy. Democracy is a form of government in which people have authority to choose their governing body. So it is a government by the people, of the people and for the people. Parliament is a legislative body of the government. Generally, a parliament has three functions. It represents the electorate, it makes laws, and also it oversees the functions of the government. I hope you are clear. Dictatorship. Next word is dictatorship. What is dictatorship? Dictatorship government is a form of government, is a kind of government in which one person or a small group possesses absolute power without any constitutional limitation. So it is unconstitutional. Dictatorship is unconstitutional. So there one person, one individual or one small group is the head. It is quite opposite to the concept of democracy. Next one is constitution. Constitution is the basic principles and laws of a nation that determines the power and duties of the government. So constitution means there are certain rules or certain principles or certain laws that are to be followed by a nation, that are to be followed by a nation. Even in India we have Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is the supreme law of India. So in this constitution we have fundamental political code, we have structure, we have procedures, we have powers and duties of government institutions, we have fundamental rights, we have duties. So all these are included in the Indian Constitution. So coming to liberty, equality and fraternity. Actually this motto is that of a French people. It is during the French Revolution that this motto gained prominence. So what is liberty? So liberty means the state of being free within a society from certain oppressive restrictions imposed by authorities. So in this speech, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar speaks about social democracy, in which these three things, that is liberty, equality and fraternity, go together as a way of our life. So these cannot exist independently. They should go hand in hand. Liberty should be there, equality should be there and fraternity should also be there. What is fraternity? Fraternity means a group of people sharing same interest or same beliefs. It can be also a sense of brotherhood. So these principles of liberty, equality and fraternity are mentioned in the preamble of the Constitution. It is mentioned about the way of life that recognizes liberty, equality and fraternity. So this preamble secures to all the citizens of India liberty, equality and fraternity. What kind of liberty is it talking about? Liberty, it is actually the liberty of thought, liberty of expression, belief and worship through their fundamental rights. The liberty is actually very much important for successful functioning of a democratic system. So in a democratic system like India, we need liberty, but liberty cannot exist in vacuum. We need equality and fraternity also along with that. So liberty does not mean utmost freedom. It does not give any license to do whatever one likes to do. But this liberty, this freedom should be enjoyed within the limitations mentioned in the Constitution itself. Next is equality. Equality is actually the absence of special privileges to any section of society. So everybody should be considered equal. Special privileges should not be given to particular sections of society based on their class, caste or whatever. Okay. Educate opportunities need to be given to all. Everyone should be given equal opportunity. There should not be any kind of discrimination. The preamble secures to all citizens of India equality of status and also opportunity. Actually, there are three dimensions of equality. The sections of equality, which is actually civic equality, political equality and also economic equality. In the Indian Constitution, Article 14 deals with the concept of equality. So in this article, two kinds of equality are mentioned. First one is equality before law. Before law, all should be equal. And the second one is equal protection of the law. So what is the difference between these two statements? First one is equality before law and the second one is equal protection of the laws. So first one means that nobody is above the law. Law of land is equal to everyone. So everyone is equal in the eye of law. And what does the second one mean? Second one is equal protection of the laws. What does that mean? That means that law provides equal opportunities to everyone who are in similar situations. So both these laws try to establish a kind of equality of status and also of opportunity. So what is the third thing? Third is fraternity. So we have already said that fraternity means a group of people sharing a similar set of belief, a similar set of rules. So it is a kind of brotherhood. It is a sense of brotherhood. The Constitution promotes this feeling of fraternity by the system of single citizenship. Also, the fundamental duties say that it is the duty of every citizen in India to promote harmony and also common brotherhood. So, we have to promote harmony and also common brotherhood in India. So these three principles of equality, liberty, equality and fraternity cannot exist in independence. They should go in hand. That is what Dr. Ambedkar discussed in this particular speech also. These cannot be treated as separate items. He calls them a union of trinity. If we try to remove one from the other, then the democracy will be at stake. So it will defeat the very purpose of democracy. So all these three should be together always. So I hope you have understood these important terms which would be coming in the speech. So we will discuss, we will read the speech, we will read it paragraph by paragraph, and then discuss it in detail, so that you understand the speech very well. And after that we'll also do the vocabulary part and also the reading comprehension, so that even from the examination point of view this will be very clear for you. So this is the part 1 of the video, which is dealing with the biography part, biographical details, background of the speech given by the Honorable Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly of India. So in the second part of this video, we will be reading the speech, extract from the speech which is given in your textbook, and we'll be discussing the important points of that, and also we'll discuss the tough words, the new words, the vocabulary that you find difficult. And after reading the whole thing, after reading the whole speech, we'll also discuss the reading comprehension questions that is given at the end of the textbook. So you keep all these important terms in your mind, the important terms that we have already discussed. Grammar of anarchy, grammar, anarchy, difference between independence and republic, what is democracy, what is parliament, and what is dictatorship, which is quite opposite to democracy. And how about constitution, what is constitution, and what is the importance of Indian Constitution, and these principles of liberty, equality and fraternity. And then Constituent Assembly of India. Constituent Assembly of India was elected to write the Constitution of India. So who is the head of that? The chief of that was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And also the difference between country and nation. Country and state are self-governing political entities. So India is a country, you say, but nation is actually the group of people who share the same territory, history, ethnicity or culture. So in this speech, Ambedkar is not bothered about the term country or state. He is much anxious about the term nation, because in nation we need oneness of a group of people, which is actually missing in India during that period of time. So I hope you are clear about the context of this speech. We'll continue with the speech in the actual speech in the next part of the video. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening, and watch the next video.